I'm Stephen John Drew from the official GonnaGeek.com podcast, a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the one you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out other geeky podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Welcome, everyone, to episode, I think this is 533 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, recording this live on Thursday, September 14th, 2023. My name is Chris. I am joined by my usual band of misfits. We'll start first with Mr. Willie the Nelson.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing swell. How about yourself, Willie?
Continue on.
Continue on. Also joining us, Mr. Anthony Bachman.
I was ready for the audio. I was not prepared for the video of a flip-top head Canadian right in my screen.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we do surprising things in here. Sometimes.
Indeed.
I'm here to keep everyone guessing and to have fun. I don't know.
I'm glad someone brought it up because there's something that's always bugged me and I couldn't figure it out. And I just figured it out about our intro, our script, as you were. You always count down 3, 2, 1. If I learn anything from Wayne's World, is that you don't say the 3, 2, 1. You go 5.
No, or you don't say the 1.
Oh, you don't say the 1. I thought it was 1, 2, 3. Oh, but where's the 1?
It's silent.
It's silent.
Just kind of do the hand gesture.
Don't like the K. Like the K. It's silent.
But I eat Special K, and I don't just eat soup.
We know you're special, Willie.
Have you had the Special K with strawberries in it? They have one that's got like freeze-dried strawberries, and it's really good.
Yeah, they had it for like a decade or so.
That one's good.
More,
I didn't know that. I was just asking.
It is delightful.
That's what's been around for a while.
And speaking of delightful breakfast food, since we're on a segue here, you know what else is a new flavor that came out and is pretty damn delightful?
What's that, Willie?
Flavor.
Banana bread Pop-Tarts. They are just delightful. Not like too like blah or bland. I was gonna take a chance.
I don't know about that.
I saw it. I was like,
it sounds risky.
It is just delightful. That is the best way to describe it. Not great, not bad. Just
all right. So I have to ask: is it flavored like banana bread, or is it banana flavoring like Laffy Taffy that tastes like bananas?
Banana bread.
Banana bread.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I might try that.
It is delightful. I give it 2 thumbs up. I was surprised. I took a chance. Like, I don't think this is going to be good. Let me try it. It's probably going to taste dry or something. Nope. Just delightful.
So on the Willie scale, 1 thumb up, 1 thumb mid, 1 thumb down.
He gave you 2 thumbs up.
I only let you have 1. That's why I was asking. You only get 1.
I'm still giving you the 2. You figure it out from there.
No, you can't have 2. I'm only allocating 1.
I have 2, and I'm giving them to you.
No.
To you.
No.
Giving you 2. Got it.
So there, you do what you want with them. They're yours. I don't care what scale that skews for you. That's on you.
I reject that.
That's okay. That's on you. But that's my answer. You don't have to accept it, but it is what it is.
No.
Hey, me. Good morning.
Is not the truth. No, there's a better saying than that.
Howdy, V. Good to see you. I can present that on screen now that I know how these things work properly.
Nice.
Now you watch your mouth about who you calling a gentleman.
Don't offend Willie.
I do have a sound bump, if the soundboard's not on, that it was Naki yelling, "I am not a gentleman." I just don't have it set up. Sorry.
That makes sense.
And I feel like that's a lie. Every time I have talked with Naki, she has been the upright, most gentle of gentlemen.
Are you sure about that?
But she's not a man type person.
Oh, I'll get you that. I meant more in the ideal sense.
It's been corrected, Willie. Howdy, jerk.
There you go. Howdy, jerk.
To be fair, only one of us is a jerk. So it's like howdy, gentleman and jerk.
Chris, I have to ask.
Yes.
Do you really feel is the one jerk on here? Who do you, in your honest mind, who is the one jerk on here?
It's you. You're having the jerk behavior right
Who's
now.
the crotchety old man?
Bachman's the crotchety
There you
old
go.
man.
You know what? I'll accept my role and I'll play my part and sing my tune.
What tune do you sing in
Don't ask him to sing. Don't.
Hi diddly dee, go fuck yourself, Chris.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I needed some music. I mean, if you want, I've got the ability to play some background music for you while you do it. Is this more of a dance
thing? And you want me to dance for you?
Dance, monkey, dance.
Dance for us.
I love that song.
Dance for us. We're ready to dance.
No, we're not actually. I'm not. No. Did you put on EDM?
I don't know. I hit the
royalty-free EDM.
Exactly.
All right, get this Euro trash out of here. I'm not gonna sit here and wait for the motherfucking drop. All right.
We'll go with some rock music for you.
Okay.
Sing us your song, Willie.
Chris, this isn't Shock Morning Radio.
It is now.
You took all my
it
fun
really
away.
is. You know what? Fuck it. I would
music.
love to do a fucking talk morning radio show. Let's do that.
I mean, we are semi well equipped to be able to be comfortable talking on a mic.
Hey, we got crazy Chris over here, and I'm on the mic over here. Wet Willie, how you doing, Bach the man?
No, it's Wet Willie the Wheel Dog.
The radio names are always the worst.
I accept your reality.
We can do the talking on the mic, but can you do it for like 6 to 8 hours non-stop and only take bathroom breaks during a song?
Well, I mean,
I'm taking a bathroom break right now.
I guess the real question is, are we talking about talk radio or radio DJing things? Because those are very different things.
Very
if
true.
If you're talking talk radio, most shows, the long ones are like 3, maybe 4 hours with commercials in there. So knock off about 22 minutes an hour.
You're right.
But even then, I mean, that's a time commitment.
to get right on it, to pinpoint what I actually meant, I do mean like I guess locally. I know there are a little bit the two guys named Chris show. What was John Boy and Billy like that? Like I know that was nationwide.
Yeah, Lex and Terry also another nationwide.
Never heard that one, but I know. But yeah, they like that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I mean, not quite to that weirdness level, but like it's a similar vein. Howard Stern, it's the thing. It's what they do. They just sit there and
make noise.
You guys look like you're looking at me like I'm wrong.
Here's the difference, though. A lot of these guys have producers that aren't on mic or on cam, but for rare occasions, they help put together like show outlines that run the show behind things. It is
daily
slightly
guests, daily segments,
but it's much more structured than what we do. And we used to be pretty structured, but even that wasn't close to the structure you would need to have for a morning radio show. Like I have vast respect for those people that do like morning talk show radio, where you're talking like their show starts at 6 a.m. They go to 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and they've got to find a way to fill 3 to 4 hours of airtime with just, what happened in sports last night? Let's talk about my wife. Let's talk about your wife, and telling weird stories. How you do that all the time, I have no idea. V also brings up
Bob and Tom show.
Bob and Tom show.
That was when we got here in the Valley. Our big one here for the longest time, for I think like 10 years, was Mike and Kate. They were like the longest running one I think we had here in Boise.
As long as we're not doing Bubba the Love Sponge, I'm fine with that.
Okay, I've heard that name, but I don't know what it is. I've never seen.
He was one of Hulk Hogan's boys, and then he cucked Hogan.
Okay. I'm reining this in. All right, this was just a joke. That was just a bit, and you made this way too heavy and serious.
Look what you did, Willie. Look what you did.
Well, I think it's a fascinating topic because I think everyone who's podcasted at some point in time has been like, man, it'd be really fun to do radio, but I don't think they're directly equivalent. I mean, we could talk to Cody Goff, who's on the network, who has done both radio for WGN in Chicago and a variety of podcasts. He is an award-winning podcaster.
And is he still doing the daily podcast?
No, he hasn't been doing that one for a while now.
Yeah, they did that for like at least like 3 years though, right? Like that
4 or 5, and turned it into an award-winning podcast.
I mean, and that was every day. So he's probably the closest with podcasting experience to what it'd be like to do an actual like daily radio show. Because they were putting out episodes of that fucking podcast every single day, and that's insane.
I mean, yeah, I can't imagine. And you would think the sports might be easier too, but what do you do when you're in one of those dead sports periods? Like Monday, if you're a sports talk radio show, probably great because you got all the weekend football you can talk about. Tuesday, you got Monday Night Football. What are you talking about Wednesday morning?
It depends. As long as you're if it's just talking sports in general, there's no dead zones anymore. Because if you can't,
but people
if you
don't
can't
care
talk
about hockey.
No, but I'm saying if you can't talk football or basketball, you can always talk UFC because there's another pay-per-view coming up and there's 12 guys about to beat the shit out of each other.
I mean, every sports channel is turned into ESPN the Ocho.
Yeah.
Also, side note, ESPN and UFC and WWE, the merger was completed on Tuesday. That was the last day, or the last Monday Night Raw, or rather, was the last one with a Vince McMahon owned company.
Oh,
he's now the chairman of the board, if I recall correctly, of TKO, which is the combined UFC WWE entity.
Wait, so does that mean did Titan buy UFC?
No, UFC Endeavor, who owns UFC, purchased WWE.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
So WWE and UFC are now merged. They were talking about the fact, well, now we can do like super pay-per-view weekends where Saturday night's UFC and then the same venue Sunday night we do WWE.
So how soon until Endeavor tries to force WWE wrestlers to come to the ring wearing Reebok?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the real question.
We're going to take away all of your gimmick and charisma away and make you wear these stupid fucking outfits.
There's going to be Jimmy John board shorts left and right.
Yep.
I mean, Brock Lesnar still wears them.
I know, that's why.
Yeah, everybody's going to have a casino on their ass.
I mean, I wouldn't be against that.
I mean, the acquisition just happened, so nobody really knows what's going to happen. They haven't actually done a television show. So, no, I guess they did NXT on Tuesday night. So they have done a television show since then, and nothing has changed at this point in time. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this combined entity treats, wrestler salaries compared to UFC fighter salaries.
Okay, so so Endeavor is the one that owns UFC. Is that the Fertittas and Dana White, or is that a different company that bought them out?
That's the Fertittas, I believe. Dana White doesn't own UFC anymore. He is just
because he's like
president of, or
he sold like half of it or whatever to the
and
Fertittas.
has a spot on the board. And then that's the same for the McMahons.
So WWE Titan Sports did not get sold to the Saudis, like some people were thinking was going to happen.
No, that
this
didn't
is
end up
a different company. Okay.
So now the WWE and the UFC are one entity. So that can be very interesting going forward.
I mean, sure, I probably will still care nothing about it one way or the other.
That's also fair. You don't have to care about it.
I don't know. Conor McGregor could make a hell of a wrestling character because, like, this is one of the most charismatic characters in fighting anyways, win or lose. Sure. Motherfucker put on a show. Like, he's a showman. So,
well, you don't have to care about that, but you know what you do need to care about?
What?
The news of the week.
Oh.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
Hey, welcome to the News of the Week. It's that part of the show where we run down what's in our minds some of the most interesting, geeky and or nerdy news that's popped up here in the past week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Share with you guys who are watching live and or listening at a later date. I'm trying to figure out what order to go in. I'll just go first because it's easier that way because I already have my stuff queued up. So we're going to go first with my news here in the News of the Week, and we're going to talk about Starfield. I mean, what else am I going to talk about if I've been playing an Xbox for years and one of the biggest new releases finally came out that's console exclusive? That is, in fact, Starfield. It's come out to pretty solid reviews. It's come out to pretty solid first impressions from YouTubers, other gamers, and the like. And there were a couple specific stories I wanted to bring up. The first I got from Kotaku about game sales. And why is this interesting? Because remember, it's a Game Pass game, meaning that if you're a Game Pass subscriber, it's included in your subscription, but you could buy it on Xbox or PC if you chose to. So let's flip over. We'll talk about this story from Kotaku, and then I have a follow-up one. They say Starfield is the biggest Bethesda launch of all time, according to Bethesda announcing on Twitter earlier this week. Over 6 million players as of September 6th, and its initial sales numbers appear to match the splashy reception. After early access beginning on August 31st, and then launching globally on September 6th, Starfield is topping digital and physical sales charts, despite being available at no cost no extra cost for Game Pass subscribers. Where it gets interesting is look at Steam's top 10 games that are being played right now, concurrent gamers. Starfield is in the number 2 slot, which it first assumed in August, which is behind Counter-Strike Global Offensive, which is to be expected as it's been the number 1 spot for 11 years at this point in time.
I'm sorry, what has?
Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
CSGO.
Yes.
CSGO. I
CS:GO.
know by that name.
Yes.
Jesus.
I was just reading it out loud, but
I was like, I'd never heard that before. I was like, what is that?
as of the time of the publishing for this article, which I believe was yesterday, there were 200,000 concurrent gamers on Counter-Strike Go, CSGO. Starfield is beating other things, though, which include... Oh, I misread that, I'm sure. I misread that. I apologize. It was Starfield with 200,000 concurrent players at the time of publishing. And then they compare it to other Bethesda RPGs that folks are playing at that same time. Skyrim had 20,000 concurrent players, Fallout 4, 15,000, Elder Scrolls Online, 14,000. Where it gets more interesting in regards to sales numbers. Remember, sales numbers we're talking about here on a game that's included as part of the subscription. Starfield is dominating in the UK for physical sales. Last week, it dethroned Hogwarts Legacy Mario Kart Deluxe. It is the number 1 game in UK box charts, according to GameIndustry.biz.
Damn.
So,
one of the metrics I always look at, too, is I always look at Twitch channels, who's following and watching other people play a game. Or, like, DVD is one that me and Willie know. Like, it's constant, nonstop. It's 7 days a week, people play. And there's 26.6 thousand people watching DVD streams right now. There are 32.2 thousand people watching streams of Starfield currently at the moment. Like, that's a lot of people watching other people play that game. So it's pretty damn popular. It's already pulling in numbers above DVD that's 7 years running.
GameIndustry.biz had reported it's not the biggest physical launch of 2022, but it's almost identical to what Diablo 4 did. And that's significant because Diablo 4 was a major digital hit. So the argument they're making now is throwing Game Pass in the sales numbers we've seen for Starfield, and it's a pretty significant win for Microsoft, which needed a pretty significant win when it came to console first-party exclusive.
And if I understand, this is No Man's Sky plus Skyrim, basically, right? Because I saw somebody storing potatoes in a spaceship, and so I'm assuming it's No Man's Sky plus Skyrim.
No more cheese wheels, only potatoes.
Only
Mars,
potatoes.
Matt Damon potatoes.
Yeah, and watching the physics in that was pretty impressive. Like, there's some good coding in this game.
I want to tie this into another story that I got off of GameRant.com. Why these UK numbers are significant. Because they then went and looked and saw that the 9th generation Xbox consoles, those are the current ones we're on now, have undergone a 76% sales spike in the UK associated with the release of Starfield, meaning the game is driving people to go buy the console and get people to adopt the console, and then potentially converting those folks later down the road into Game Pass subscribers.
Damn, that's pretty good for Game Pass. Yeah, there ain't many games driving people to buy PlayStations.
They said Xbox Series X and S sales in the UK increased 76% between August 27th and September 2nd, making that Xbox's best week this year, with the following week going on to become the second best. The 1 terabyte Series S model, which just released like a week or two ago, reportedly made up 24% of console sales. They're attributing that directly to the release of Starfield.
Damn. Well, Sony, you got your work cut out for you. You going to sell that many units when Amazing Spider-Man 2 comes out? I don't know.
Who knows?
Venom looks good. I mean, it is Candyman doing the voice of Venom. How can you beat that?
What'll be really
good.
interesting is how this is still, or if this is still having an impact, say 2-3 weeks from now. Are we still seeing sales numbers being up because of Starfield? Are we still seeing large viewing counts on Twitch streams, large play counts on Steam streams?
So I have a question. So on the Game Pass thing, when a game's put on there, is it just permanently on there?
Microsoft first party ones are permanently on there.
Well,
okay, because I know, like,
own it, right? If
as long as they, unless they go and sell Bethesda, Microsoft owns it. I mean, it's a Microsoft studio.
for PlayStation Essential, like those of us that have the lowest tier of PlayStation, you get to keep those free, quote unquote, free monthly games as long as you keep paying for your PlayStation Essential Pass. But if you don't add it to your library during that month when it's free, you can't go get it 6 months from now.
We're talking
That
about
was-
two different services.
Yeah, that was something different. That was Games with Gold.
Games
right?
with Gold, and they have discontinued Games with Gold, where you got 2 free games per month so long as you're a subscriber, but you could only download them during that month. And if, say, you tried to download it the first of the next month, it would go back to being a paid thing. Now, you could always go and re-download it if you would download it at some point, but Microsoft has discontinued Games with Gold, and it's pretty much just Game Pass. And the way that works is, so long as you are subscribed, you can play any game that is on there. Now, caveat to that, they have worked deals with some third-party vendors where a game might go on Game Pass and be there for, say, a year, and then after that, it's no longer a Game Pass game and it drops off. And they have, when that is generally happening, they do like monthly blog posts of here's what's coming to Game Pass, here's what's leaving. And there's generally some kind of sale that is, if you're a subscriber to Game Pass and you want to keep that game, you can purchase a digital copy for a slightly cheaper price based off your Game Pass subscription before it leaves. So let's use GTA 5 as an example right now because it's on Game Pass. Because it's one I'm thinking off the top of my head. Yeah, and GTA Online. So say we found out that, and this is a hypothetical, anyone who's tuning in, say we found out that November 1st, GTA is going to leave Game Pass in this hypothetical. Then you could purchase the game digitally for a discount between now and November 1st, and then have a digital license for it on your Xbox after it goes off Game Pass. And
Okay, but if you're just paying for Game Pass, then on November 1st, even if you downloaded that game, your access to it is going to be removed.
Well,
correct,
yeah,
because it's no longer a Game
over.
Pass game.
Okay. No, I'm
Can you
just
still
trying
use
to
Netflix after you.
Yeah.
No, but I'm trying to understand in my head the comparison between like the Game Pass versus what I've got with PlayStation Essential and how the game's going on and off work.
Well, PlayStation has their cloud streaming stuff and some of the other stuff that I think is similar to Game Pass, but I'm not 100% sure because I honestly haven't researched it a ton.
It is similar, but Microsoft has to be losing money with Game Pass, right? There is no way that is profitable.
It is if it's driving console. It is if it's driving console sales. I think that's the whole point of Game Pass.
There are Game Pass subscription fees are going up, arguably because they've got a bunch of people hooked, and you need to continue to make it sustainable. The trade-off is Microsoft's intent is to get as many people on board as they can before they crank that price up a ton. And because of the variety of other businesses Microsoft is in, they can kind of afford in the short term for it to be a loss leader, for lack of a better term. Game Pass. Now, I don't think Microsoft has explicitly said, well, I'll do a Google search because now I'm thinking there might have been something that Phil had said about whether it was profitable yet or not.
Well, I will say the Game Pass is much better than anything PlayStation has. Much better. Yeah. But it comes at a cost because I know they have to be just hemorrhaging money out of that.
But I mean, yeah, it's got me thinking about like
Microsoft
canceling my PlayStation Essential and eventually down the line buying an Xbox. So, I mean, that Game Pass is looking better and better.
You have a gaming PC, don't you? Just you can get it on that.
Yeah, that's true. I do have that, but also I'm in.
And isn't it cheaper if you have the PC pass, or is it?
There's a version that has the PC stuff included within it.
Well, I know there's one with both, and there's one with just an Xbox and one with just the PC. There's 3 different things, right? And one's cheaper of course, the bundle is the most expensive, but I think one's cheaper with just Xbox or just PC, and I can't remember which one it is.
And then there's Game Pass Ultimate that has both combined and gives you cloud streaming, because that is the other thing you can do is if you haven't bought an Xbox Series console, you could cloud stream Starfield if you are subscribed.
Who the fuck would want to spend more money to stream a game?
Well, it's included with the regular and I think the top line one.
Okay. I thought you were saying that bundle comes with an extra little bit.
The trade-off also is I could be sitting on my couch and I could play Starfield on my tablet or on my phone or something like that too, in addition to streaming it to another Xbox device, whether it is an Xbox Series device or not. So say I'd given you my old Xbox One, Willie, you could in theory cloud stream Starfield to it. So going back to Game Pass, I used the AI tools built into Google Search because I'm on the beta for that. I put Game Pass not profitable in there, and the generative AI said Game Pass is profitable for Microsoft and accounts for 10 to 15% of the company's gaming revenue. In 2021, Microsoft generated $2.9 billion in revenue from Xbox Game Pass subscriptions. Xbox Game Pass is the main growth driver for the Microsoft video game business.
Christ. They must be getting deals for these games.
However, it has failed to meet its growth targets for the second year in a row. They're reporting Microsoft's fiscal report for the third quarter of 2023 shows that gaming revenue declined by 4% year on year, and Xbox hardware revenue fell by 30% in that same period. So Game Pass appears to be profitable. I just then went and clicked to ask specifically for 2023, and it brought up the same damn thing again.
Yeah, I thought Microsoft is famous for not showing numbers for like sales.
Yeah, but if you're succeeding, you want to show those numbers.
Yeah. As soon as you're winning, the numbers come out.
I thought they didn't matter. I thought they always were all like, they didn't show it no matter which way. I thought I could be, of course, I'm probably very wrong. That was my thought process.
There's a follow-up just in the search results here, and I'm not going to click through all of them, but the first article from Tweaktown says Game Pass and Xbox are profitable. Phil Spencer reiterates, who's the head of the Xbox division. So it appears that we do have profits coming via Game Pass.
Who's we in this situation?
We as in consumers.
So unlike streaming,
they're raising the prices up. We're not winning.
Unlike streaming, this is a good business model that makes money.
I mean, it seems to make money for them. The question is, can it make more if they keep putting out reliably good first-party titles? We need more Starfields and less Redfalls.
Yes. Well, and Sony, pick up the slack on this shit, man. I know you've come out and stated to curb expectations of people saying, well, this isn't going to be like Game Pass. We're not going to have day-and-date games coming out, day one on release. We can't be having that. Just curb your expectations on this and, give us more money, please. Yeah, keep doing that. That's me as a Sony rep.
No, I get it. I mean, we're at a point where this is an industry disruptor. You could argue what Microsoft is doing with Game Pass. You could also argue that if you're a smaller game developer, it's a good way to get your foot in the door because Microsoft has put a lot of indie releases on Game Pass because they can pay them a flat fee, and then I think they get a certain percent for number of plays over a given time. And like on some of the AMAs they've done on the Xbox Series X subreddit, most of those indie developers said Game Pass has been a huge help for us because they get a lump sum of cash up front effectively. Then they continue getting revenue based off the number of people playing their game. So it's helped them be able to build out faster. And we've seen some interesting ones like Vampire Survivor still on Game Pass. People are playing the hell out of it still. And I think they've even got it enabled for touchscreen on phones. So in theory, you could play it on your phone without a controller, which is kind of cool.
That's how I've been playing it.
I'll say when they do that too, that opens up a lot of the Asian market. Like that's why DBD wanted to be on phones, because as soon as they were able to be on phones on mobile, then you're getting, part of China and part of Japan. That's a lot of people.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I like what we're seeing out of it. And as someone who has all three of the current gen consoles right now, I don't really have a dog in the fight.
Well, as someone who's thinking about getting rid of PlayStation Essential, I keep looking at that Game Pass.
I mean, here's the thing. If you're not opposed to digital games, get an Xbox Series S. You can get it for what, $250? I think the 512 gigabyte model retails for, or pay $300 for. No, it's $300 for the 1 terabyte and then $350. Wait, $300 for the half terabyte and $350 for the 1 terabyte Xbox Series S. Yes,
and it'll be cheaper at Christmas probably.
I mean, yeah, they'll always go on sale.
That's true.
Always on sale.
The idea of paying $80 a year to play DBD is just kind of like it's hurting my wallet.
I mean, you can play it on any console, but I don't know if your achievements carry over.
No,
between consoles.
Nothing carries over.
Oh,
the shit from my PC doesn't carry over to my PlayStation. So I have 3 different accounts when it comes to getting like achievements. Because here's the fun thing that they did: when Behavior copied your account from PS4 to PS5, none of your achievements counted. So you had to redo all achievements. Which was the weird. It's like we're going to copy everything except the stuff that you did.
Some things did. crossover. Like, I got a lot of them that just started dinging at one point in time.
Well,
Every
no,
time I
that's the
started the
thing.
game,
Yeah,
ding, ding, ding.
they didn't cross over, but then like when you would log in, you would like I would say the first 5 to 10 times I logged in to DBD on the PS5, I would get anywhere from 8 to 10 achievements. And so the information was there, but somehow it like slowly came over. Like it was just weird.
It's like when I pulled
weird.
my save file for Spider-Man on PS4 over to PS5 for the remastered version. Is like
you can do that?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
As soon as I did that, a bunch of achievements just started blowing up on screen. I was like, what the shit?
Yeah. They're like ding, ding, ding.
Auto?
Like, oh, I just got all those.
Not all did.
What?
Not all did that I had on the PS4, but some of them, like for the number of gadgets I'd unlocked, that achievement automatically unlocked on
What's
PS5.
the thing? Where's the line then?
I don't know. That's what was
What the
confusing.
hell?
Yeah, that's the thing that's strange with PS5, that no one knows where the line is and they don't seem to be able to describe it.
To be
that's
fair, it's on Studio for the game individually. I think that's what it really feels like.
I think so. Yeah, that was one of the things I'm going to bring up when we get into what I'm into is like the very different experience between doing a game upgrade on PS4 to PS5 versus Xbox One to Xbox Series, where I had to be like, how the fuck do I get my Spider-Man game over here? And I had to go fire up my PS4 again to do it after I'd already moved it and hadn't plugged it back into its new home.
Because you don't have PS Plus, and you don't have cloud saves. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, cloud saves.
Here's the better
so
thing,
better.
and this is not me playing fanboy wars here.
Oh,
why are
I know
cloud
where you're
saves for both Nintendo and Sony behind a paywall?
Mm-hmm. I'll agree with
They're
that.
Microsoft.
Shitty.
Yeah,
Very shitty.
it is.
Microsoft, you own an Xbox device, as long as it's connected to the internet, you get a cloud save.
Another reason I'm thinking about getting rid of it.
But to be fair, I think that is in part because they are Microsoft and they probably already have those systems in place before this was like, oh, we can just do this. We have that. Yeah, it's probably right. They probably had a lot more access to that. I'm
They
assuming.
had begun
Fucking
developing cloud syncing for games
Yeah.
on the Xbox 360, I believe, is when I first had that.
But yeah, I think I get what Billy was saying though. Like, as a computer company, their physical architecture was pre-set up to do that, where Sony and Nintendo have to build it and then charge for it.
Not to say it's still not shitty for them not to fucking figure it out.
Isn't PlayStation Network built on the Microsoft Azure cloud?
I have no idea. I'm just gonna say that's true because I don't fucking know.
The correct answer is yes.
All I know
That's
is
why
when
I'm just
Amazon-
saying, that was my answer. Technically,
All I know is when Amazon servers go down, everybody loses. Because that's where
Oh.
everything's fucking stored.
That's not true. And apologies, the cat has invaded.
Bezos is gonna leave us and just go to space and say, "Fuck off, Earth! I'm taking the servers with me."
That'd be cool.
That was my Bezos. You just got biz, baby.
Bachman, why don't you go next with your news?
All right. So, remember how we were confused about how many Aquaman movies there were?
No.
I do, because we had a big old talk about it. So they actually released. So they released the trailer for the trailer, which even the director said was fucking stupid. And then they finally released the trailer now for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which I'm trying to remember. So is this the third or fourth time that Jason Momoa has been Aquaman on film?
Are we counting the Snyder Cut as a separate entity?
That's
like
the question.
You don't, or just Justice League?
Well,
is Justice
no,
League is
Justice League is a Justice League. Is a
Okay.
movie. Yeah.
Then it'd be one.
Because is he in?
Batman v Superman? He does.
Yeah,
make an
Batman v
appearance.
Superman. Yeah, because that was the first appearance.
And,
Then he shows up in
Aquaman.
Justice League. Aquaman.
Wait, is Aquaman
Justice
after
League.
Justice League?
See that this
No,
is the
Aquaman is
problem.
before Justice League, man. It goes Batman v Superman, Aquaman, Justice League, and Peacemaker.
now
If
Aquaman-
you want to include that, because he does show
Oh.
up there.
Fish
Don't you
fucker.
fuck fish. Hey, it's just a
That's true.
rumor. Is
That
it?
might be the
But
best
it's the
cameo.
shithead ass man, so fuck that ass.
Might be the best cameo in the Snyderverse. But yeah, so we did finally get a trailer for Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it is already at 595,000 views on DC's main channel. It was released 2 hours ago. Coming out in theaters December 20th. And of course, James Wan, Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa, bringing back Patrick Wilson, Amber Heard, and Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who looks badass as the live action version of Black Manta. It may be one of the coolest versions of a villain we've got in the DCU.
Coolest
He looks
looking.
fucking Yeah, he looks awesome.
Okay, yeah, coolest look I'll give you, but his fucking. I watched Aquaman. What the fuck was that backstory? Like, you're gonna avenge your dad? You were trying to kill him.
It's
what do you mean you're
comics.
trying to avenge him? He tried to say like what? Okay,
It's
whatever
comics.
script
Settle
writer
down.
you
But
have to go with. It's so
it's
stupid.
It's a villain in the Super Friends Legion of Doom that had a giant
Poorly
manta ray
written.
helmet, and James Wan actually made that look cool on film.
How do you kill a vampire? Any which way you want to. You can make something cool. You can do it. The possibility is there. They just chose not to do it.
But we got a trailer. So my question is, because I know I still haven't seen the Trash Flash movie. Willie, you said you saw it, right?
Yep.
So at the end of the Flash movie, if everything I've heard is correct, the Snyderverse is gone, right?
I mean,
Because isn't that supposed to be the jumping off point, and like Blue Beetle is the start of the new DCU, correct?
I have no idea. I've heard multiple different things about it. I heard like Blue Beetle is technically not the first in the James Gunn going forward, but Blue Beetle is. His movie, like his like story, I guess maybe I don't know, because I think that was made up all before James Gunn was on board, so it's not technically all. I don't know. I hope so because I haven't seen it yet, but I already
Blue Beetle's
love George
great.
Lopez's character in that because Batman is a fascist.
He is great at it. But yeah, so what I'm looking at this trailer, and like it looks fun, it looks interesting. I actually enjoyed the first Aquaman movie. They took one of the dumbest characters in comics, and James Wan made him pretty fucking cool. There are good and bad versions of Aquaman in the comics, but like they got him to wear an orange like chainmail shirt, and it wasn't the dumbest thing I've ever seen on screen. It still looks better than the Flash's outfit from Batman v Superman. Like it didn't look that bad. But like
that's a high bar.
No, it's a very low bar, but still, it's also one of the weirdest comic outfits to try to put on screen outside of, yellow and blue spandex. We'll see how that turns out.
In his full-on green and yellow pinstripe,
and it was perfect.
I mean that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
but also in Kick-Ass, it was
cool.
a scuba suit that he ordered online.
I know it was also meant to be kind of dopey looking too.
Exactly. But yeah, so
we're
getting a continuation. We're getting the apparently, depending how you number it, roughly the fourth time that Jason Momoa has played Aquaman in a feature film. And it's a continuation of a story in a universe that maybe doesn't exist anymore. Which that's where I see the problem. So we have the James Gunn, Peter Safran DCU going forward. Supposedly the first film in that series is Blue Beetle.
Correct.
Where the fuck does Aquaman fit in?
I think it's, and you may have said it when I had to step away a second. I think it's exactly like what we saw with The Flash, which is we spent too much money on this. We just got to release the damn thing.
Batgirl! What about Batgirl?
They had more money to spend on that and could get a tax write-off if they didn't do it.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Here's what it comes down to.
It was all over again.
Honestly, here's what I think it was. They couldn't get a tax write-off by not releasing Aquaman. So they're going to release Aquaman and see if they can make some money off of it.
Yeah,
I'm just still peeved that Brendan Fraser didn't get a fucking good role. That's all I'm pissed about. I want to see it. It's done. I want to see it.
Yeah, it's weird though, because unlike The Flash, this movie actually looks fairly entertaining, other than the weird like I'm a dad now sequence, which is kind of strange in the trailer. But like the fight scenes look good, the special effects look good. Motherfucking James Wan knows how to make a good action film. Like his, the time he spent on the Fast and the Furious movies, like the dude can make fights look good. He makes action sequences look good. Like, there's going to be interesting shit in this movie. And yeah, the way they've done Black Manta, he looks like a fucking badass. Yahya Abdul-Mateen just looks fucking cool. But it's like, I don't know. The idea of like, we're going to move forward with the last Snyderverse film and the universe we've gotten rid of after we've started the next universe just seems like more DC confusing the audience again.
This could be a decision coming from up on high too, which is you will put this movie out because
more than likely.
Yeah, the confusion factor is real. I mean, there's also the matter of, so does Peacemaker actually exist in this new universe or the old universe? How does the Suicide Squad versus Suicide Squad fit into things?
Yeah, I mean, do any of those exist at all in the DCU? We don't know yet. Yeah, the only thing we have is references from in Blue Beetle, where I think they talk about Batman and Superman. So like we know those characters exist because of course it's fucking DC going forward. Those characters exist.
I mean, I
what
think
version
they said
of them we don't know.
I think they said that the Batman with Pattinson exists in its own world, so it's not part of the
The Matt Reeves stuff is
DCU.
supposed to be a pocket. What do they call them? DC calls them Elseworlds.
Elseworlds.
Marvel has What If. DC has Elseworlds. So the Matt Reeves Batman universe with the Colin Farrell Penguin and all of that is going to be its own Elseworld. Which is fucking cool stuff. I want to see more Colin Farrell the Penguin. That's one of the best takes on a villain I've ever seen.
I don't know.
I
If
love
see a
Danny
whole
DeVito.
show on it.
Yeah, I love Danny DeVito because he's like, no, I'm going to straight up do the cartoon version and we're going to make it live action. I'm going to have a fucking penguin army with rockets. We're going to have crazy ass umbrellas. Like, it was awesome and it fit perfectly for doing that version of
Didn't the cartoon
penguin.
come out after that? You're talking about the Super Friends cartoon, right?
I mean, Super Friends going back to
It's not the animated series that came out
Pam Pip
after
Pal.
the Batman
like
Returns.
that was always the version of Penguin until we got the Matt Reeves one. And it's like, oh no, we're going to do this like a crazy ass scarred gangster. It's like, okay, this is the first time, like, and Matt Reeves is the first universe where the Riddler and the Penguin are actually fucking kind of scary. I ain't never scared of Jim Carrey in a green tight suit.
If you want to put it this way, you could say they took a lot of inspiration from what they did with the characters in the Arkham games, though, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, there's always references because it's not, none of it's coming out of nothing's made 100% brand new, especially when you're referencing a character from a comic book. Everything's got influences, but yeah, the way they did the Penguin with Colin Farrell, wearing so much makeup you can barely tell it's Colin Farrell. Like what they did with him was awesome. But yeah, it's just it's strange because it's once again it's like it's the whole DC shooting themselves in the foot thing. We're moving forward with the movie in the canceled universe, and we're going to try to make that our big blockbuster Christmas movie after we just released Blue Beetle, which is the start of our new universe.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I watched the trailer. It looks like fun. This is a James Wan movie. I'm probably going to take the wife to go see this in the theater. Maybe not opening weekend, but it looks like it's worth seeing on the big screen. The first one was worth seeing on the big screen. Big budget, action sequences that look good on a theater screen.
So,
I'll probably go see it in the theater.
confession time, I fell asleep watching the first Aquaman.
Oh, that's fair enough. It's 4.5 hours long.
Yeah.
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 Wait,
It feels like 3 movies. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
I was not
240 or
impressed.
something.
And
but-
once again, Manta has a shit story. The character story is shit. Like, me and my dad were gonna kill you, but
Yeah.
we fucked up, and you tried and save my dad, but he died. I'm blaming you though, even though you tried to save him. And now I'm gonna kill you. That's just where we are now. Like, okay, who wrote this? Who the fuck wrote this? So I can kick him right in the balls. Because you don't deserve writing. You don't deserve your fucking union card. I want to be kicked out of the union.
Wow.
Stupid.
Wow.
That's a bit much.
Tell us how you really feel, Willie.
What was the runtime on that?
Too
So yeah,
damn
Aquaman was
long.
2 hours and 23 minutes. It just felt like 4 hours. It did. It felt like 3 movies kind of like crammed together. Like
Yeah, they tried to
Aquaman
make
could have
them-
been 2 films, like easily. And it was 2.5 hours. Like that was a long ass movie. But I mean, yeah, it had some good parts in it. It had some funny shit. It had some good action sequences. I'm probably going to go see the second one in the theater. I refused to pay for The Flash. Still haven't seen it. But I'll go watch Aquaman. James Wan's fucking great.
Yeah, I don't have Max right now to be able to watch The Flash, so I haven't seen it yet.
Is it
Like I
on
said,
there?
I'm-
No.
I thought it was. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't have Max.
It got put on there a while ago. Yeah. As I had access to it. I think I watched it one more time before we turned Max off. So yeah, I've seen it again.
The only enjoyable parts of The Flash is when Ezra Miller is getting annoyed with Ezra Miller. And it's like, oh, you can't stand yourself, huh? Because might be because you're just such a piece of shit, right?
Might be.
Like that was the too real moment of the movie.
Yeah. That was all I have for news of the week. Just it looks good, but it seems to be confusing, and I wonder how confusing it's going to be for the mainstream audience. Or are they just, the majority of people are just like, hey, it's another DC movie. and they don't know the difference.
I mean, here's the thing: is they thought that the Flash was going to be their big one, and it wasn't. I'm not indulging in fanboy wars here or anything like that. But if the Flash is the one they thought was really going to succeed, I wonder what the internal projections are now, based off of how the Flash did, for an Aquaman movie that's in a dead universe, presumably.
Yeah, I mean, if they're
not
smart,
taking a shot.
Yeah, they're smart. They should lower their expectations, but
hold
it's
on.
still James Wan. It's an action film.
I mean, we can still take this as an individual movie. You know, is it enjoyable or not? Like, it doesn't matter if it's really a part of the whole universe that going forward or not.
So
Is this
yes
an
and no.
enjoyable movie?
Yes and no. Part of what this was all built on originally, though, remember, was, oh, we're doing our own Marvel thing, connected universe. It's all connected. Everything matters. I don't know.
Listen, this is on brand for DC for just rebooting the whole fucking universe.
You're not wrong.
All right.
This is another crisis.
Brand. This is just the fucking James Gunn led one.
Yeah, they've had more reboots than any comic book like company in history.
Yeah.
So let's just fucking wipe it. Just don't do. Who cares what the Flash movie did with Flashpoint? Who the fuck cares? Just fucking the ending to it doesn't like lead up and like fix things into a new thing. No, it just pulls it back to older shit that definitely doesn't connect shit. So I don't know what the fuck the Flash is supposed to be doing.
Making money, I thought, is what it was supposed to do.
That's what it was supposed to do.
So you guys need to figure out and
didn't.
watch it so I'm not just fucking spoiling the shit out of it. Although I think
I don't care. Spoil it.
Yeah,
It pulls it further backward because George Clooney's there as Batman. Like what? So you're saying that was
Clooney.
How is this go? So George Clooney's Batman going forward? What are you trying to say here? This is the ending of fucking Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes all over again. What the fuck does this mean? Did he really go to the past and monkeys really evolve? I don't fucking get it. What is the fucking point of fucking like America monkeys? Like the fucking apes? Like why is there an Abraham Lincoln ape? What does this? This doesn't make sense. I still don't
DC. This is what you do to people.
Still don't get it. What the fuck does that mean? With
I think we broke Willie.
Travel. Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes broke me. All right.
It seems like it.
I divided by 0. God damn it.
And now you are the one.
It's fair. We're going to call him
not
Neo.
Floating, so no.
Well, you might be. We can't see.
Keep trying.
You could float.
No, I'm telling you, I'm not floating. This is because
I don't believe you.
I mean, that's cool. You don't have to believe me. That's on you.
I won't believe you. Then you can't make me.
Even fucking better.
All right.
That's how we roll then. All right. So Willie's news we're going to save for next week because we are a bit time limited today. Willie, do you want to tease what that is for the people?
No.
Fair enough. You don't have
I want to edge them. I want to edge the listeners.
So we'll wrap things up with our little segment, a bit we call What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with folks who are watching live and or listening at a later date the geeky and nerdy things we've been getting into because, hey, you may want to go check them out yourselves. And I'll go first because I already sort of teased it a little bit. Ooh. But I beat Miles Morales on Spider-Man on PS5. Really enjoyed it. I need to go and do a couple of the side quests to 100% it. I'm just not in any rush because I've got way too much crap to play. Way too much crap today. Or to play, rather. I did also pick up it came with the remastered edition of Spider-Man, which I was like, okay, I want to play this. I haven't played Spider-Man since they changed Peter's face on PS4.
No, sorry, the remastered Spider-Man came with Miles Morales.
Right,
the other way around.
The digital code for it came with it. So I did redeem that. And like I said, I haven't played Spider-Man on PS4 since before they changed the face. So I'm still used to the old face model. So that was one of the things that was a bit jarring at first.
A little shocking,
and stuff. I'm like, the fuck happened to Peter? I'm like, oh yeah, they made him look like a poor man's Tom Holland. I remember now.
You got in a car accident.
Well, no, they made him look more like Yuri Lowenthal, I thought. Wasn't that
it
what
looked
it was?
more like Tom Holland to me.
I thought they made it the voice actor Yuri Lowenthal, for
I don't know. I said back then that it would be pretty jarring, and I was proven right, at least to myself, that it's pretty jarring that Peter didn't look like Peter anymore. It's a video game. I don't understand why we're changing the appearance of him.
It was weird.
That's also a fair point too. I can't. Who cares?
But just personal opinion there. And what I had teased earlier is I was like, oh man, I'm going to play this game. I'm just going to have to start over from scratch, and that'll be a bummer. But I fired up the game, and on the launch screen, it's like download PS4 version, PS4 save game or something like that on the splash screen. I was like, I can do what now? And I went, oh, this is great. And then I realized, oh shit, this is less great because I have to have uploaded it from my PlayStation to wherever this save game temporarily
to
dumps
be able
it
to
to
download
in a
it.
server
Yep.
for me to download. So it wasn't based off of like a PlayStation Cloud save where it pulls it down from my PlayStation Cloud account. It was based off of you need to go turn on your PS4, which I had disconnected and had not reconnected to a new television yet. Connect it to the internet, launch the game. You have to patch the game if you haven't done that lately so that you can get online services. And I hadn't patched the game, so I had a 20 gig update I had to do on it. And then I could upload my game to the cloud where Insomniac had it stored, so I could go back down to my PS5, hit the R1 button to download my game from the cloud and have it be imported into my PlayStation 5. Now, credit to them, it worked perfectly. You can only do one save game at a time. So if you're using, say, all 4 or all 5 save slots, I think you have to do it for each save slot separately. You can't do all 5 at one time. So you'd have to go and do that process 5 times, basically. But
You
it worked
beat the
perfect.
first Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. It was like you didn't just go through Miles Morales.
Well,
Spider-Man.
I beat the first Spider-Man, but I don't think I finished the Silver Sable DLC.
Okay, yeah, I didn't finish the very last one of the DLC.
Yeah.
I do need to go back and do that.
The very last DLC, I think I had halfway through or something like that. I can go look on the PS5. But what I really wanted to do is, before Starfield came out, I wanted to replay some of the original Spider-Man with New Game Plus so that I could carry over all of my cool gadgets and stuff, because that's far more fun.
Oh, yeah.
And do the DLC again, because that wasn't fresh in my mind. But I didn't make it very far on that before Starfield came out. But it was fun. It was a pain in the ass moving my game over. I'm just glad there was a method to do so. And again, not indulging in fanboy wars here. It's so much simpler on the Xbox, where I just launch the game and it pulls my game out of the cloud.
Yeah.
And if it's one of the games they did smart delivery for, it doesn't even matter. It just treats it like that one, and save game just worked.
You're not wrong. Inherent cloud saves would be
Yeah.
super nice.
That's how all gaming systems should work.
That's what I think too. But it worked. I got it working. I enjoyed it. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I have also been playing Starfield because, hey, I talked about it. I've only got like 8 or 10 hours into Starfield, so I haven't really gotten too deep into things. But I've honestly just gotten to the first main world, and I've been enjoying ridiculous side quests. I keep getting distracted by all sorts of different side quests to do on, I think, New Atlantis is the name of the planet. I've been having a bunch of fun with it, and I've been enjoying reading some of the stories of other people and what they've gotten into in Starfield, or where they were on a planet and they found a spaceship, they walked onto it, they killed a bunch of people and stole the spaceship and flew off and stuff like that, because you can do all sorts of things. Or they stole a spaceship, didn't realize there was contraband on it, flew back to one of the populated lawful planets, and then they realized they had human organs somewhere on the ship, and those are
And they broke
contraband.
the law.
And they got arrested, their ship impounded, and then made an indentured servant.
Nice. That's fucked up.
There's some pretty cool stories going on. I guess if you don't branch too far off the main story, it's somewhere between 30 to 40 hours to complete the game. But there's a ridiculous number of side quests and missions and things like that. I've been having a lot of fun with it. Bethesda RPGs don't always do it for me, so I had some reservations, but this one seems to be doing it for me. I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Nice.
If you like Bethesda RPGs, this is right in your wheelhouse, though.
Mm,
I'm trying to think. Bethesda was what, Fallout, right?
Fallout,
Yeah.
Skyrim,
Fallout
Morrowind.
3, Fallout 4, not New Vegas,
Correct.
Mm.
Fallout 76,
So-
Oblivion,
Oblivion,
Skyrim.
Morrowind Online.
They did those okay. Did they do
Yeah.
any other ones? They didn't do
There's
the
probably
original
stuff
ones,
I'm
did
not thinking of.
they? I don't remember though.
What else have I been getting into? Caught up on Ahsoka. I've been watching that pretty much when the new episode comes out at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays. About 5 minutes after that, I tend to turn it on and watch it because I don't want to catch spoilers. And this last episode, I won't get into spoilers of it, was very good, but it gets very deep into meta and lore. And there's a part of me that goes, if you didn't watch Rebels and or Clone Wars, there's a lot of gaps being filled here that you're probably going, the fuck is going on here? And it's still a fun watch, I think, but
Yeah. We ran into that problem last night. The wife has watched all the Star Wars movies. She's watched none of Clone Wars. I've got her to watch like the first 3 episodes of Rebels. So she's got a lot of Rebels to watch. And yeah, it's like sitting there watching certain scenes, and because we watched it last night, it's like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, you really should have watched Rebels before you watch the show. Because let's be honest, this is Filoni being able to say, hey, I'm doing live action Rebels season 5. Let's rock. And that's what Ahsoka is.
And it falls outside our spoiler window because we're a week past it. And it's minor in the grand scheme of things because Disney tipped their hat in commercials and stuff. Getting to see Hayden Christensen return as Anakin, Anakin, it's really cool. And to get to see a live action depiction of Master and Apprentice like we saw in the cartoons, also really cool. And I don't know if you realize this, minor spoiler, I guess here, there's kind of a flashback to periods of young Ahsoka during the Clone Wars. You know who plays young Ahsoka?
I didn't know.
The same girl who played young Gamora.
Oh, shit.
She's both Ahsoka and Gamora.
Baby Gamora's baby Snips. Damn, that little girl's got a fucking resume on her.
Right?
Holy shit.
They like to put her in weird body paint and give her weird stuff on her head and make her an alien.
She's the new young Zoe Saldana.
Yeah,
you put her in a color and she just kicks ass.
I thought that was
Zoe Saldana in a different colored skin, you make $1 billion. I mean, that's all it is. It's simple.
But Ahsoka is really fun. I don't know if I think it is accessible to folks who haven't seen Clone Wars and Rebels, but there's a lot more. The fuck is going on here? So my parallel I would use here, Willie, you never watched Clone Wars or Rebels, right?
No.
I think if you watched Ahsoka, you'd be like, okay, I've met her in The Mandalorian. Who the hell are the rest of these people and why are they important? And they do kind of a good job of filling in
she's
gaps.
in the shows. I know of her character. I don't know who. I know she was a Jedi Padawan or whatever.
She was Anakin.
That's
Padawan.
about it. Yeah, I kind of gathered that from hearing things, but like the history and like what she's done. No, I kind of gathered what her character is and stuff like that. That's about it.
So I think
one of the big leaps is what the fuck is a Purrgil?
Yeah, space whale.
I thought that was one of those things that on the island with Luke on one of the
different things. But
that's
not one of the. I mean, the milking thing.
Oh no, the blue milk cow or the green milk cows. No, Purrgil are hyperspace whales.
Sure,
they can basically jump into hyperspace the way spaceships do in Star Wars, but they do it naturally. It's an innate ability for them to travel to hyperspace lanes. And so that's something that's really explained in Rebels. In Ahsoka, they just kind of show up. Though they were in The Mandalorian. In one of the scenes where they're flying in the new speedy spaceship, you see Grogu look to the side in hyperspace, and you see something traveling along in the blue of hyperspace. So that was technically the first live-action Purrgil. You just only saw its shadow.
Yeah, I have really enjoyed it, but I'm not saying Willie go watch this, but I'd be curious if you decided to watch Ahsoka, what your thoughts would be on it, because you have not watched as much of the other lore associated with it with Clone Wars and Rebels like Bachman and I have.
How many questions you'd have?
What else have I been getting into? I don't know. I watched a couple of AEW pay-per. I watched one pay-per-view. I didn't watch both because I was too cheap to buy 2 pay-per-views back to week.
Back to back is a bit much because wasn't it Saturday one weekend, Sunday the next weekend?
Yeah, it was Saturday at like noon because it was in the UK, and then the next one was like Sunday at 8 p.m. But it was Labor Day weekend, so I mean, normally I would do that, but I was just like, I just dropped $50. I'm like, I don't know if the pay-per-view will be as good. By all accounts, it was one of the best pay-per-views they've done. And I went, shit, I should have bought it. What can you do? Oh, and AEW fired CM Punk. That was entertaining. We can talk about that and some other things. Like legit fired him. It's not storyline. It's entertaining.
Second incident of fighting backstage. So apparently the problem is CM Punk. So
if the ass boys pin you, you're out of here. You can't come back. You turn in your belt and you're fired.
Hey, Willie, there is actually a tag team called the Ass Boys.
I know. That's why I said it.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
AEW, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm sure I thought I was hoping to get all those factoids
They're-
right.
Yep.
They're
You
Billy
got it.
Gunn's boys.
I know. I couldn't think of anyone
Woo.
else's names. Now, oh wait, there's another one popping in. Danhausen, right? He's in AEW, right?
That's true.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I guess I
and
could've gone
daddy
with that,
ass
but
Billy Gunn.
I didn't want to.
The return of the badass.
I went with the thing, and we're deconstructing it for no reason right now.
That's
Yep.
fair. We got about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to toss things over to Willie. Willie, what you been getting into, sir?
I ain't been doing jack shit. Move. I'm just kidding.
That's fair.
Let's see. Let me get a little comfy. Let me get a little comfy. Put it on my legs.
It's
Let's
comfy
see,
time with Willie.
So I think last time I know I said I was playing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Still been doing that. Still been fun. I don't remember if I started the Yakuza 6, which would be the last one of the mainline Yakuza games that I had not played yet. It was because I've already jumped ahead and played through 7 after I played through the remake of the second one, just because it was a whole starting off point. I was missing some things, but it was all right. But I finally beat Yakuza 6, went through all of them, played through all the mainline ones, and I beat Yakuza 6. Super fun game. Out of the mainline, 5. Yakuza 5 is such a meaty game. So much game to that. So much to do. And it's all fun. Highly recommend 5 if you're going through it. Or I mean, definitely you got to play the other ones because that storyline's not going to make a goddamn lick of sense if you just start on 5. I mean, probably enough, but 6 was super fun, and that was the That was a PS4 version game, so it was the first of their Dragon engine, like their physics engine, and the Dragon engine it is a janky system, but it's good jank. It's good jank.
Good jank.
Good jank. Like when you finish a fight off in your last hit, and the fucking person bounces off the asphalt and goes like rolling down for like a good 10 feet. You're like, that's good jank. That's some good jank. Nothing that affects your gameplay. It just does some weird shit. That's some
Little
good
body
jank.
flopping.
Yeah, some of that ragdoll shit. It just gets fun. That's some of the good jank. Because nothing ever affects you playing. That's what's good about it.
Okay. Makes sense.
But yeah, Yakuza 6, fucking good story as always, all the Yakuzas. And I've since started, as of Tuesday night, Judgment, the first of the spin-off games I'm starting on. Because the spin-offs, there's Judgment, and then the sequel to it, Lost Judgment. Judgment takes place in the same area of Tokyo that all the Yakuzas take place, the made-up area of Kamurocho, which I forget the area it's based on in Tokyo. But it is based on an actual area. It even has some the same features. Like there's this like red neon lit up sign that's in all the Yakuza games. It's based on a real place in Tokyo. Yeah, so I started Judgment, and how this story goes is you're not a Yakuza in this one. You start off in the story, the main guy, he's a lawyer, and you just got a murder conviction, acquitted. You got him fully off by the evidence and everything, which the game tells you that in Japan the conviction rate for stuff like that is 99.9%. So that acquittal is big news. That's what the game tells you. I don't know if that's an actual fact. It's just what the game says. But apparently the guy gets out, goes to his girlfriend's, murders her, and sets the apartment on fire and gets arrested. And so now you're a disgraced lawyer because you pretty much got a murderer off. And then the actual game starts off 3 years later. You're a disgraced lawyer turned a private detective. And how I've been putting this, it's like you're playing Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright, but you're also adding in a bunch of fighting in there.
Interesting.
It's like that because you are going around like you're being like a little private detective helping out your old law office by I only did the first case so far, the first main case where 3 off-land mainland Yakuza have been found in the past 3 months. It was 3 individual times with their eyes gouged out pretty much.
Yeesh.
And you're helping solve that case. The case is called 3 Blind Mice. I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, that was the first case, and it is super fun. I can't wait to go through more of it, and that also uses the Dragon engine. And happy to say it also came with the PS5 version. I guess they remastered it.
Oh, nice.
And speaking of Spider-Man, I think they, with the remaster and stuff, and with the sequel, I think the sequel already had it from the ground up. They changed the main character's face because I think I know they did it for Yakuza 4, 100%. I can't remember if they did it
What's
for
all this
Yagami.
face changing?
They did it for Yakuza 4. I know this because I remember looking at all this. By the version I played only had the new one, and that was it because that version only had the new one. The voice actor, it was modeled after the voice actor in 4, and he got caught doing drugs. And for actors in Japan, I've heard that is a big no-no. You were pretty much discredited.
Yeah.
All right.
If you got caught doing drugs. I don't even know what kind of drugs. It just didn't say. I guess just generic drugs. Bad. Don't
There
do
you
it.
go.
Just
So-
bad and pay.
So that's why they did that for that guy. I think they did it for Yagami too, the main character of Judgment, but I can't remember 100% because I try to go into them blind, but I do see some things. And I would have to go back and relook and see if this happened. And I guess I could just Google it right now, but that's disingenuous. And other than that, I haven't done a damn thing. So, Bachman, what you been doing?
Yeah. Finish things
All
up
right.
for us.
Well, the good with the bad, we woke up, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, maybe Sunday
And
or Monday
Willie
morning.
was on their couch.
Hell, wasn't that bad. We woke up and our fridge had died. So we literally went from everything was fine. We went to bed, woke up in the morning, and everything in the freezer was melting. Everything in the fridge was about lukewarm. And so yesterday we got a brand new fridge installed, which it's funny because one of the things, like when we bought the house, my wife wanted a fireplace. That was the main thing that we were looking for. And so we ended up buying a house and building a fireplace because it didn't have one. That was the thing she wanted. One of the things I've always wanted was a fridge that has ice and water in the door. I've never owned one. That was like some bougie ass rich shit when I was a poor kid. Like only my Aunt Karen had one because she had a super expensive house. And so the water in this glass and the ice that is now melted came out of my brand new fridge from the door, and I fucking love it. It's a ridiculous thing, but I love it.
I do not want to make you feel bad about that. I'm not. That's not even what. But it is just. I just want to state that it's super weird that you're super happy about it. I'm not trying to discredit your happiness. It's just weird that's what makes you happy.
It's one of those weird.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird little things. Yeah. Rich people had that when I was a kid, growing up in low income housing, and that was something we would never be able to afford. And it was something like stuck in my head. Got one now. I'm living a bougie ass life here. I'm married. I got a nice house. I got a nice wife.
Bitch.
Just make sure you change out those filters of that water.
Yeah.
You have to be on top of that every 6 months. I know that different ones. The one I know is like a big long tube thing you have to shove in there. It's a weird canister. It's kind of like sci-fi looking because we popped it out to check to make sure there was a new one in there. And it's weird because like you pop open the chamber and you pull out this tube. It's like a sci-fi movie. It's fucking cool. But it reminds me of Demolition Man when they're pulling out the little
there you go, little ice drop
thing.
Yep. So I'm loving my new fridge. And then been watching Ahsoka. I finished Uncharted 2, so I'm ready to start Uncharted 3 now. I did enjoy the storyline on that. A game that had some janky physics, but even in the remaster. But it was a fun storyline. The weird ass tree of life demon creatures that you fight were pretty cool. But there's got some cool sequences in it. It was fun. I'm looking forward to the third one. And then I'm honestly contemplating getting rid of my PlayStation Essential once I'm done with the Uncharted's because I have a bunch of games I bought digitally and haven't played. And I'm paying, when that price goes up, I'm paying $80 a year to play DVD every once in a while. That's really the only game I needed the online for. I may get rid of it and focus on my other hobby because I've had some fun I finished off my group of 5 Stormcast Liberators. Then I did Rocket and Groot for the wife. Those were the ones that I bought for her on our honeymoon. And so I finally cracked open my first big box, and I've started my Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. So this one's got 19 miniatures in it. I got the first 3 already put together and primed with a Zenithal prime. So I got the Dark Apostle dude who's missing his head currently. because it's on a stick to be painted separately because it's easier that way. I got his awesome little Dark Disciple dude that literally just has a rack on his back for carrying the book. Like it's a creepy little like slave character. And then his other buddy rocking the incense in like a little skull, and it's got flame behind it. So those guys are fun. And then
quick question.
Yeah.
That one pack comes with 19 miniatures. How on average, I guess it might change for what like not class, so what type of like I guess soldiers you're having, terms that I'm not there with it, but how many miniatures would you need for an average game, would you say?
So it depends what type of game you're doing. So there's skirmishes at a point. So they set them at points levels. So there's skirmishes, then there's battles, and then so like a full Warhammer battle is a 2,000 point army. So you have 2,000 points to spend, and you can buy whichever characters from your group.
All right, characters have
Dark Angel Space Marines. These are all Chaos Space Marines. So what they're doing now with the new Combat Patrol, so they put out one of these boxes for basically every version, every army in Warhammer. So there's an Ultramarines version of Combat Patrol. There is a Tau Combat Patrol. There is a Death Guard Combat Patrol. There's an Orc Combat Patrol. What it's supposed to be is the number of figures change. So like the one of this, it's like the Imperial Custodes. I think there's only 12 or 13 figures in the box. But points-wise, those 12 figures are supposed to be equal to my 19 here, where like the Dark Angels one, I think, comes with a tank. So that tank costs a lot of points. So they may have less Space Marine figures in that box, but points-wise, it should be able to battle my Combat Patrol because it's their Combat Patrol. So they even them out. So it's basically there's like 500 point armies, which is roughly the Combat Patrols, 1,000 points, or a full army is still 2,000 points, and you build that with certain groups of characters.
And how many points does that box that you showed come with?
So this one, the Combat Patrols are roughly 500. Yeah.
Okay.
These are supposed to be. This is supposed to be a rough estimate of 500 points per Combat Patrol.
I thought you were about to tell me 30. I was like, 2,000 is the fuck. I was like, oh, Jesus.
Oh yeah, 2,000 is still a lot. But yeah. So
I believe that. But...
yeah, if you bought 4 of the Combat Patrol boxes, you could combine those, and you would have a 2,000 point Warhammer army of those types of characters, whether they were Eldar or Tau. Yeah.
30 points.
It is a lot of stuff. Yeah, no, like the character I bought on our honeymoon, Harkin World Claimer, is a single Chaos Space Marine character. He alone is 150 points. So like there are certain higher characters like the Primarchs, which are the leaders.
Sheets that their abilities.
Yeah, all the stats are in the box when you buy the character, or you can download them all on the website. Yeah, so it's a whole bunch of like background. It's like learning D&D. Learning Warhammer is its whole game system all in of itself and has a ton of shit attached to it. But yeah, so I did that, and then I started building my Hellbrute, which I've had a lot of fun with because this is something that's large enough to where I was actually able to magnetize. So this dude has a right arm that's a plasma cannon that I can pop off and on and switch it to his like power fist arm.
I was able to put that mid-fight.
No, but it's so basically if I paint all of these different arms and then I can decide which weapon I want to take into the fight.
Okay.
And then so like he's got that one, he's got a crazy ass, like there's this weird ass tentacle arm that I love for like close quarter combat. It's just a bunch of freaking tentacles to whip people with. Another one's it's a mini, but like it's a miniature rocket launcher that's the size of half of his body. So yeah, having the ability to swap arms is pretty cool. Because, yeah, not mid-fight, but, yeah, before the fight, you could choose what weapon you want to put on them if you have a character big enough to do swap-outs. And then in Warhammer, one of the biggest things is they changed almost all the Space Marines, the video games and the lore in the books. Everybody uses chain swords. So it's a sword that actually has a chainsaw blade. And I put together my Chaos Space Marine Aspiring Champion last night. And this is actually the first character I've built with a chain sword. And so I was very happy to get to putting together my first chainsword last night. And last night was another first. It's a known thing, kind of a meme in Warhammer and all the different miniature gaming things. People are always spilling like a pot of paint or a pot of Nolan oil. Someone's always spilling something on their desk. I had my first spill last night, and it is this Tamiya extra thin cement, rubber cement, which basically melts plastic. So it's
Ooh.
great for putting miniature models together because you put a little touch on the arm, you put a little touch on the shoulder, you push them together, and those little bits of plastic that you put it on actually melt and fuse together. High alcohol content. I flipped this bottle over and spilled about a quarter of it on my desk last night. Good news with the high alcohol content, I was able to just wipe it up with a paper towel. It didn't ruin my art desk. It didn't ruin it soaked in the cardboard that I was working on. And it only kind of slid over and touched 2 pieces of plastic. I picked them up real quick, wiped them off, and it's a Chaos Space Marine. If it looks grungy or beat up, well, it's just chaos. So it didn't really ruin anything, but I can say I've had my first massive spill. And yeah, I dropped about $4 worth of glue on my desk last night and just got high as fuck because I'm sitting there trying to clean it. And yeah, it's a high alcohol content, so it's just fumes coming off my desk the whole time I'm cleaning. I'm like, oh, this is bad. Open a window, we turn the fans on. The wife came in to play a video game afterwards. She's like, yeah, it smells crazy in here. It smells like you're huffing glue. I was not huffing glue on purpose. It was a spill.
It was just a nice side effect.
It was, yeah. I mean, I went to bed with a little bit of a headache last night, but yeah, I had my first massive spill, and I can happily say at least it didn't ruin anything. So that's great. And yeah, I put together my first Chaos Space Marine that has a crazy ass motherfucking chainsword. So it's chainsword time now. We're gonna chop up some loyalist motherfuckers.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's 5. So I got 14 more miniatures to make on that set, and then I will actually be able to play because that'll be my first large enough unit to where I can sit down and do a combat patrol fight. So as soon as I'm not even going to wait till they're painted. As soon as I have all the gray put together and they're on pedestals, I'm going to be calling my nephew and be like, hey, I got a 500-point combat patrol. Grab your blood angels. Let's go. I want to actually play this game now. And so, yeah, it's going to be fun. He's going to come over and kick the shit out of me because he's been doing Warhammer for 18 years. So, but it'll be fun to play. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. And I got a bunch of shit to put together this week.
Nice. Well, that should be fun.
Yep.
On that note, though, we are going to wrap things up. A friendly reminder, we do try to stream this show once a week. Stay tuned to the social media at ATGN Podcast on Twitter. I'm not calling it that other name because you'll be able to see when we're going
Shitter.
live.
It's called Shitter. You just put an X in front of it. Shitter.
That all being said, thank you so much. I know V joined us live. Thank you to anyone else who did hop in the Twitch chat room or who is catching this on one of the replays. We really do appreciate it. We are going to shut down that stream and see you all next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Later.
Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek radio app, and over at our network home at gonnageek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com.